Programming, there's no allocations this week.
Angie?
Can I strike AAC travel mini grant allocations and ASRF allocations? And can I also add a discussion about academic senate appointments to the agenda, please? Thank you.
Yeah, I have a hand raised, but I know that as pres I get to speak. So I just wanted to say, I wanted to add another appointment. He couldn't make it last time. It's for Geronimo for CRC.
Okay,
And I believe
I'll add that.
What?
I'll add that right now.
Okay, I believe that was Emily's appointment. Emily, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, that's true. I actually haven't been able to reach him though in the past 2 weeks, so I'm not sure if
he's coming tonight.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Wait, is it for CRC?
Yeah.
Yeah, CRC.
Sorry, just to clarify, this has already been on a previous agenda, correct? Sorry, Breeze.
Yeah, he just couldn't make it last week, but yes.
So that's totally fair. And just for everybody here, because it was on a previous agenda, we can move forward on a vote. But if this was a new name that was not on a previous agenda, we would not be able to move forward with a vote for this meeting because the public does need to see it prior.
I think it was struck from previous.
Yeah, but it was, so what I'm saying is because it was on a previous agenda, the public had an opportunity to view it, so we can move forward with it this week.
Okay, I'm seeing that Arman said that he wasn't interviewed through ARC, but I'm confused as because he was on the last agenda. So let me see.
He was on the last agenda because these appointments are sent to me on Thursdays. So I assume that he would have signed up for an interview with us, but he never did. So
okay,
that's why.
Okay, that makes sense. I'll reach out to Simone for clarification. That's the ASU chairperson. And then from there we can communicate. But I guess in that case, we can just remove him.
Yeah, Breeze, if ARC has not had the opportunity to interview him, we cannot move forward with a formal vote.
Okay, I'm going to ask Momina for amendments.
Hi, can we strike SFS allocations and then for the student risk education committee appointment, just like I think it's a consent item vote, so it's like yeah. Thank you.
Okay, got it. Thank you. Taylani.
Hi, can we strike the SWC programming fund, please?
Thank you. Sarah.
Hi, can we strike bag, please?
Okay, got it. Is there any more amendments? Okay, Breeze, I think we're okay now.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Let me lower my hand real quick. Okay, great. Okay, so we need a motion to approve the agenda. Is there a motion?
I motion to approve the July 26, 2021 minutes.
Can I get a second?
A second.
Who was that? Sorry.
Maya.
Maya. Okay. Taylani motions. Maya seconds. All in favor, please raise your hands. Perfect. By a vote of 10-0, the motion passes and the agenda is approved for this week. Great. We're moving on to the approval of the minutes for the last meeting. I believe that was July 12th, but if someone can correct me if I'm wrong, please let me know. Hopefully everyone's had the opportunity to review the minutes. Is there a motion to approve?
I move to approve the minutes from July 12th.
Can I get a second?
A second.
Okay. Jane motions, Emily seconds. All in favor, please raise your hands. Great. By a vote of 10 to 0 to 0, the motion passes and the agenda for July 12th is approved. Great. Moving straight into public comment. Or hold on one sec. Yes, correct. Public comment. So public comment is an opportunity for any member of the public to come speak with the council and discuss anything they would like to have heard. 30 minutes are allocated to public comment. Each public commenter gets 2 minutes. Remember to follow community guidelines, which means challenge ideas, not individuals, use gender inclusive and respectful language. Freedom of speech does not mean freedom from accountability, and each speaker will be given 2 minutes and the opportunity to speak once. No dehumanizing language. With that being said, we are going to start public comment. If you are in the public and would like to speak, please raise your hands and I will go ahead and call on you once you get promoted by Cassandra. Going once, going twice. Great. Since seeing as there is no individuals that would like to give public comment at this time, we will be ending public comment at 7:09 p.m. Great. Moving straight into funding. Can I hear ARC allocations, please? If there are any, I'm not sure Promise is here today. So I think we could, if the person isn't here, Josh, we can just move forward with the agenda, correct?
Yep, we just move forward.
Perfect. Okay. Great. No special presentation. So we will be moving straight into appointments. We have Momina, your appointment is up first. So every appointment, please go ahead and raise your hand and Cass will go ahead and promote you at this time.
Should I just start with, so I'll give a brief introduction, but it's a consent item vote, so I don't think we need to go over anything formal. But my appointment to the Student Risk Education Committee is Xerxes Razi Bada. He's been a part of CSC and service spaces all 4 years at UCLA, and next year's role in CSC is as a project liaison director. So typically the CSC representative on the Student Risk Education Committee, aside from the commissioner, is a project-facing director, and as a PLD, those directors work directly with CSC projects and are aware of what they do and their needs. So that's why I chose Z for this position, also due to his experience within CSC and other service spaces. So if there are any questions, other than that, I just think we can move on if there's no other questions or additional any opposition.
Awesome. And with that, we would just ask if there's any opposition, correct, Josh, right?
Correct.
Okay. Is there any opposition from any council members? Going once, going twice. If not, congratulations on being appointed, Xerxes. We look forward to working with you this upcoming year. Thank you so much. Great. Oh, yeah. Awesome. Thank you. Okay. And moving straight, I do not see Sydney here tonight. Okay. Can we move straight into Juan then?
Sorry, if you're asking me, yes, you can move straight to Juan.
Okay, perfect. Okay, I'm going to pass it over to my appointment director, Gladys. Gladys, you have the floor.
Hello, everyone. So I'd like to introduce Juan Padilla. He has experience working for his county. Also, for preface, this is for the SHAC position. But yeah, we really loved his interview. He shared with us his experience working for his county throughout the pandemic, aiding with COVID, has utilized CAPS and has seen areas where we can improve that. Yeah, and also sees himself as an advocate for the UCLA community in terms of mental, physical, and emotional health access, and has a lot of diverse experiences stemming from his own community, which we believe makes him a very strong candidate. And I'll let him introduce himself.
Hold on one second, actually. Before we move forward, the SHAC appointment is actually a majority vote. So last week, the student, I believe last time we met, not last week, Sumia, she will actually be moving forward. She just notified us that she is still interested in the position. So since it passed with an 8-6-2-0 vote, she is going to be appointed. Just so everyone is aware. And tonight as well with the SHAC appointment, since it is a majority, not a 2/3 vote, should, Juan be approved with the majority, then he will also get appointed.
And I just want to point out, this was a mistake on my behalf. It was stated that the vote was 2/3. I pulled up the agenda very quickly, your bylaws very quickly, saw 2/3, but the 2/3 was actually to remove somebody, not vote somebody in. So for the future, I'm going to give the same advice that I give you. I need to slow down and look things over. So with the help of Breeze, we reached out to the previous candidate, and the candidate had accepted. So with an 8-6-0 vote, with the majority rules, Breeze is accurate that the previous candidate would get appointed.
Yeah. That's what I was confused about, Josh, because I'm seeing Tay's message about there only being one SHAC appointment, because that's what I thought as well. But Josh let me know that there was 2.
So Jessica could jump in as well. When we were reviewing, there is one from SWC and one from the president.
Oh, okay.
Right. Oh, sorry. I don't want to take up too much time. But I think the 2 SWC appointments are in their second year in their term. So I don't know if that would make a difference because SWC's appointments are already taken care of.
It should be fine because your bylaws say that it's 2 appointments for 2-year staggered terms. Mm-hmm. So what most likely happened is if they were appointed last year and this year's their second year, then you should be appointing 2 new people this year. So they would overlap. So total should be 4 per SHAC. 2 come in 1 year and 2 come in the next year, and they're always overlapping. So if there's not yet 2 appointments for SHAC this year, then it should be okay.
Okay.
We were just as confused. It is written quite oddly in the bylaws that there are 2 consecutive years for 2 people. But so yes, what Jessica said is right. There should be a total of 4. But Taylani, if we're wrong, jump in.
I don't know if that's you all know the bylaws probably more than I do, so I don't want to speak over y'all. I just know that the SHAC chair also said that there's only 1 appointment too. So I just don't want to interview someone for this position and waste their time, if that's not the case.
Yeah, so maybe what would be good is if you all are okay, maybe tabling this appointment and then confirm with the SHAC chair, how many undergrads are currently seated and how many are supposed to be appointed this year.
Sorry, Jessica. He's actually here. That's okay, Eric, on the spot. Invited him.
If she wants to go ahead and jump in and let us know just to confirm. Sometimes the bylaws can get outdated if something's updated differently within the committee itself. So I would defer to the SHAC chair, and then if we need to update something on our end for the bylaws, then you all could, run a bylaw change to amend that as necessary if there shouldn't be 4 total.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay. I'm going to message Erin right now in this Zoom and see.
Yeah, because I agree with Tay. I know that's why I thought there was only one appointment going through and it was mine. But yeah, then I think we can figure that out. I think if that's the case, Josh, we can move forward, right? Until like we find out.
Yeah, I would want to.
We have to get a vote on it, right? To move forward.
No, we do not need to get a vote on it because if it's inaccurate of where we stand, I want to move forward. So we would just table this until the next meeting. Okay. Or until if Taylani, I mean Breeze, you would have to give the permission if to yield the floor to someone else. But if we want to have that conversation, we can, because it looks like, have we gotten in touch with the other person at this point?
Juan's in the room right now, so I think we apologize, Juan, if you don't mind coming to next council meeting, because I think it would be good for us to be fully informed before we move forward with it.
I would agree. I don't want to appoint somebody and then have to remove that appointment.
Yeah, that would. Okay. Thank you so much, Juan. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Sorry, Juan.
Okay. Wow. This council meeting is going by really quick. So I'm going to move straight into my officer report. For our office, we've been meeting with all of our directors already. We have plans outlined for each individual office in terms of like what we want each of our committees to be working on. This upcoming year, I'll be filming the video for This is Bruin Life this upcoming week. And finally, in terms of the Student Advocate Board, I met with Dean Rush earlier this week to kind of discuss. For those who might not know, I last year self-taught myself and started defending students that way. But, speaking with the office, I think it would be really cool to have students actually be trained through the office and learn the ins and outs so that they can best help students, rather than trying to figure out emailing, seeing how they can best facilitate that. So we're going to be conducting trainings, and I'll probably be working with Angie this upcoming year to ensure that, her appointment or the people that she appoints for the Student Advocate Board, as well as the people that I appoint, are given that opportunity. And just starting to think through what it would look like to run a referenda similar to Berkeley's, and have been trying to construct what kind of thing I want. And I'm finalizing some of the cases from last year, but we had a couple of case hearings, and they set the precedent for a whole class of 25 students. So that was a big success that we found out this week, that my students who were going to get a suspension got their case completely removed. So really excited about that. So win for the OP office this week. So that's it on my end. And one more thing I did want to discuss. I've been noticing that, when you guys give officer reports, you have to make sure that you actually write in, right? Those officers that don't give reports should be giving a written report. So from here on out, I will be asking 6 council members 1 week, and then the next week we're going to be 1 week some council members, so 1 week the other council members, aside from IVP, EVP, and AAC that always have to give a report, just to make sure, that the student body is informed of what each of your individual offices is doing. So I will be putting in the GroupMe the day of, or this on the Slack. I'll be putting it in, the Friday before the meeting, just so you guys are well prepared to know, oh, okay, I'm going to have to give an officer report this week, just because I want to make sure that we are being transparent and, everyone is working to help students the best that they can. Great. Okay, moving on to IDP.
I'll keep mine pretty short. I also apologize, my camera is off because of Wi-Fi issues, but I'm starting my office hours this Wednesday from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. and that will be the time that I'll be meeting every week for the summer. And then within my office, we finalized our business plans for the upcoming school year. So each project and committee are getting started on their projects. And tomorrow I'm meeting with my sole advisor to discuss how to flesh out student org resources, whether that's how to reserve spaces on campus or how to apply for different sources of funding. And we also plan on kind of expanding the leadership lobby, which is a Slack thing that the IVP started last year, but it didn't really establish itself. So we want it to be sent out to all like student organizations so they can join that Slack channel and just find all the resources that USAC has to offer and also get connected with each other. Okay, and then I'll be passing it off to
Sorry, Cass.
Sarah.
Oh, no, Cass,
Yeah.
sorry, 1 second. I'm going to be going back. We have our appointment, Sydney, she's here. If Sydney can be promoted. Sorry, folks. Oh, and I guess while we're on the topic of it, I would really appreciate if everyone could post. I know that like, you know, individually, like these are appointments for the office of the president, but at the end of the day, they are very important positions that represent all of USAC. So I would really appreciate if each of your offices could please repost the infographics because we haven't gotten the amount of applicants that we would really want at this point in time. So please go ahead and repost them from your office pages. Perfect, thank you. So Cass, could you please promote Sydney?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, Tay, no worries. We'll go to it right now. Okay, and I believe, Jeremy, are you presenting Sydney?
Yes, I will be doing that.
Awesome, thank you.
Okay, awesome. So we are super excited to be presenting Sydney as a possible appointment to the Student Initiated Outreach Committee, or SIOC. We really admired her commitment to advancing community work since high school, and we saw how that kind of led into her experience at UCLA as an AST peer counselor as well. We also admired her willingness to resist against faculty, and we believe that this will allow her to be a strong advocate for students when speaking with administration this year. And she expressed that her vision included wanting to hone in on learning about both her own community needs, but also the other communities as well to properly advocate for all underrepresented students. And with that, I will let her introduce herself briefly.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Sydney. I'm a rising senior at UCLA, majoring in English, double minoring in professional writing and African American studies. Thank y'all so much for having me here. I am
Sydney, I think you cut out.
part of the Voice of Campus, where we can make sure that we are getting the underrepresented communities on campus, as well as like through K through 12 grades, the resources that they need in order to be successful in the long run. As stated, after us, the new generation, so we have to make sure that they're taken care of just as much as we are. So I'm excited to do the work along with y'all. And yeah, again, thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. Okay, council members, we will now have the Q&A period, so please go ahead and raise your hands and I'll call on you. Erman?
Thanks, Breeze. Hi, Sydney. It's good to see you again. I just wanted to ask what sort of role you envision your position and SIOC having with USAC, especially in relation to transparency.
Yeah, thank you so much again, Erman. So great seeing you too. I think the role that my committee would have along with USAC, again, is just collaboration to make sure that at least my committee is getting word for word from the communities that we're looking to help, the different resources that they're needing from us. And then that way being able to transcribe that information over to USAC and being a help in terms of that fight. When it comes to transparency, I know it can sometimes be hard to maybe advocate a certain way because you may be kind of hindering or have a hindrance towards maybe not wanting to offend or not knowing how to say things in the proper way. But I believe that just with complete honesty and respect, that it's very much possible to kind of get these missions underway so that everyone's vision is seen, and that we can get, again, the resources that are needed in order to help the underrepresented communities, not only on campus, but future generations looking to be a part of either our campus or another campus in the country, kind of the resources that they need in order to make sure that they are putting their best foot forward to be a part of a population such as our own.
Awesome. Any other questions? Going once, going twice. Okay, Sydney, you're free to give your closing statement.
Okay, yes. Again, I'm so excited to hopefully be a part of the SIOC committee here. With my vision is just to make sure that I'm collaborating with not only people from my community, but from other underrepresented communities. So then that way we are looking at the broadened example of how we can best help one another. Because without each other, there is no movement, there is no progression. So being able, again, to be a part of not only my own community, but learning more about other underrepresented communities will definitely help me, as well as my other committee members, figure out what's the best possible resources and ways to get these students the help they deserve. I am looking forward to fighting the good fight along with y'all. And I'm not going to go down without a fight. So we're on the same page when it comes to that. So yeah, I'm just ready to get this school year kicked off, and I'm ready to see what my other committee members want to bring to the vision, so we can figure out a way to best implement all those ideas and give our best possible work and best foot forward. So thank y'all again for having me, and I hope to see all of y'all very soon.
Awesome. Thank you, Sydney. Can I hear ARC, please?
Yeah, for ARC, we voted 3-0. ARC gives a positive recommendation for Sydney as SIOC. Speaking on my behalf, I do believe that she has the passion and also the right heart and mind to do an amazing job within this position, and also just ultimately like helping the community as a whole. I'm not sure if anyone from ARC wants to add on.
I can add a few points and then pass it off to Tay. I also agree. I want to say in particular, one of the reasons that I voted yes is also Sydney's explicit positionality on transfer students that she shared in her ARC interview, that she's also interested in connecting students with the community college pathway and other alternative pathways to the university. And so I really see that she can be a student that's really going to be conscious of what is best for the students that she'll be working with, as well as supportive for both current and prospective transfers, which I think really positions her well to support the transfer community at UCLA and beyond. And I think that's one of the reasons that Sydney will make a really strong appointment for SIOC.
Yeah, and not to go on a tangent, because I just think this woman's amazing, but I just think that her journey at UCLA, her passion is going to shine through in this position. I really feel like she's going to take it to new heights. So I'm just echoing everything that Armand and Cassandra have already said. But I'm just really proud of you, Sydney.
So cute. I know you're gonna be my appointment, Sydney, so I'm really excited to work with you. I've been trying to be pretty active. I just know that it's gonna be a very, very important year for us, and I'm really excited to work closely with you to, do what we have to do to hold admin accountable. So we're really excited. Does any other council member want to give public comment at this time? Now we can move straight into a vote. Going once, going twice. Okay, can I get a motion, please?
I move to appoint Sydney Wilhite to the SIOC appointment.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Oh, people were excited. Tay motions, Herman seconds. All in favor, please raise your hands. Okay, by a vote of 10 to 0 to 0, the motion passes and Sydney is appointed to the SIOC. Congratulations, Sydney. We're so excited to work with you this upcoming year.
Excited to work with y'all too. Thank you so much again.
Thank you for coming out. Okay, awesome. Moving straight to EVP.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. So I just wanted to start with an update on the tuition hike. As you all may have seen, unfortunately, it did pass through the regents at the past board meeting, but there are some upsides to it. We actually were able to get all of our proposed amendments into the final tuition package. So the return to aid component of the proposal was increased. So there will be additional financial aid available for students who cannot cover the increased cost. And also the threshold of state funding required for the president to consider the proposal's implementation actually increased from 6%, decreased from 6% to 5%. And the most important thing here is that the regents will be required to reconsider and reauthorize the proposal in 5 years. So that gives us a second chance in a way for our future student advocates to end this tuition hike for good. And in other news, we will be organizing across UCSA in September for the Student Organizing Summit, which has actually been pushed back about a month. And my office will be recruiting for our UCLA delegation, and I would love members of your office to join me in our virtual summit this year, where we will decide on the 4 UCSA campaign goals. And we're also working with the LA Metro admin to make sure that UCLA stakeholders are taken into account, because the Purple Line is coming to Westwood, super exciting. And I will keep you all updated on how that goes. And that's it from me.
Thank you, Sarah. Moving straight. Oh, Momina, you had your hand, sorry? I don't know if it's an old hand. I'm going to assume it's an old hand. You can go ahead and call on me if it's not, Momina. Moving straight to AAC.
Hi, so I've mostly just been doing trainings for my staff, and they're making a lot of progress on their respective projects, which is really exciting. I've also been in some discussions with my Chief of Senate and Erman and Natalia about Academic Senate and the logistics of the appointment process and the timeline that we're looking at, which I'll be discussing a little later tonight. But on that note, Academic Senate applications did just drop today. So please share the application because Senate is where a lot of decisions and recommendations about academic policies and just campus protocols take place. And so it's really important that we have a wide representation of students on Senate who historically haven't been given the space to advocate for their communities, including transfer students and students with disabilities. So yeah, please share widely and refer them to me if they have any questions. I also started my office hours last week, and I'm gonna start hiring for my general staff this week as well. And then other than that, I also attended a meeting about the switch to Canvas from CCLE, which will be happening starting fall 2021. And I was in some discussions about how to make Canvas more accessible regarding accommodations from CAE, sorry. And then I was also in a meeting with Jane about Bruincasting and how to expand Bruincasting, and have been working a little bit with PASA with that. And Jane and I also with DSU were working on a resolution to commemorate the signing of the ADA, which we'll be getting into a little bit later today. But yeah, that's basically it from my end.
Amazing, Angie. Jane, you have your hand up?
Yeah, I was wondering, also, love you, Angie. I was wondering if I could give a verbal officer report. I don't know if it's too late to change. Is that fine?
Josh, can I give that, or do we would have to vote on it? I'm not sure.
I think it's fair. We can, but for the future, we would want to do that at the very beginning.
Okay. Sorry, I just thought. Yeah, okay, so I think Angie covered some stuff we had worked on with the CAE. Back apps are also out now and they're due tonight. If you guys would be so kind to share those like on your office stories and stuff like that. And then the main things that I wanted to say out loud is that I went to a meeting hosted by Mike Cohn from the Seoul office and the leaders of all the events offices talking about like campus meeting spaces next year for like clubs and things like that. And they are planning on sending out kind of like a mass coordinated email from the Seoul office to all the different to like also registered student orgs about like room lotteries and stuff like that for meetings in the fall. And they're expected to be able to be at full capacity for rooms and stuff. I also have talked to the Office of Sustainability and Dining Sustainability about a reusable container project on the Hill that FAC has been working on for a couple of years. I have a meeting with actually Josh this week about it, and then also continuing to hire staff and directors, and we've been having bi-weekly director meetings, and Angie and I are doing a joint FAC x AAC project regarding disability justice and access to education. So we're really excited about that. And then also interviewing people for TGIF and UCOD appointments right now and continuing our bi-weekly meetings with the CAE. And also the last thing is that I'm currently attending a UC climate resilience seminar regarding approaching climate resilience from an equity, diversity, and inclusion lens at the UC-wide level, and then also attending one at just the UC level next week. But yeah, that's all for me.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So yeah, moving forward. Okay. Tay, you can go ahead and go. But to the event, or you want to give your...
The event, my bad.
Oh, okay. I'm screaming. Yeah, so moving forward, I will go ahead and let you guys know, but everyone else, I do hope that we go ahead and insert written comment, like I said earlier, if you are not called on that week. Yeah, great. Okay, oh, we're moving really fast. Yay. Moving straight into admin reps. Can I have Jessica, please?
Hi all, hope you all are doing well. So I just have one quick reminder, just as we are getting into almost August now, which is kind of scary that we'll be returning to campus very soon, to start thinking about what you want to do for fall quarter, if you're planning to resume with in-person council meetings, or if you feel like, you know, maybe it's safer and easier for everyone to continue to do virtually through fall and then come back in person in winter. And we just need to know ahead of the quarter starting so that we can plan out, you know, what the physical space setup is going to be like with our events team. So if you haven't had conversations about that, I would recommend start thinking about it and then let me know so I can connect with our team and make sure we have the reservations in the book and the meeting room set up. And obviously we'll follow all of the in-person meeting guidelines and protocol that is in place once we're ready to start that. So just keep me posted on that front. And then the other just a friendly reminder that I wanted to give on your agenda. So I noticed a few things are missing: an action item or consent item indication. So a couple of your appointments are missing it, and then the resolution that's coming up later is also missing it. So just make sure that those are amended when you're doing your agenda amendments at the beginning of the meeting. And pretty much everything on your agenda should have either the action or consent tag on it, except for your officer reports and any discussion items. You don't need to put that indication on. But I just wanted to remind you all of that because It just makes it more clear on what items you're voting on, and especially if it's an action item vote where you need to take the formal vote. So if you can, when you get to the resolution, make sure that you update that. And then also the same thing with your appointment you just did. But that's it for me.
Thank you, Jessica. George?
No updates from me.
George is here. Oh. Wait, is he here or am I just not seeing him? Oh yeah, he is. I love that background. I'll call on you after, George. I don't know if you
I'm sorry. I thought I said something, but okay. Did folks not hear me? Oh, but anyway, no updates on my end. And thank you for the compliments to the drawing.
Josh?
Hey team, just two quick things also about the meeting. One, yielding the floor to other people. Please make sure that you do check in with Breeze before you yield the floor at any point during the meeting. The only person that can yield the floor during a meeting is the president. So you're welcome to ask for permission. Just make sure as we move forward that you're doing that. And then the second piece is Breeze and I are on the same page today. I was just going to talk about making sure that everyone has a weekly written report or in your that you could submit directly to this agenda when it is released. You are representing the entire university. And as a result of your stipend, you do need to have a report out weekly. So please make sure that you are dropping a written report each week with updates and what's going on with your office. If nothing happens that week, totally okay. Make sure that says that. And then if you use a Google Doc, just make sure that it is unlocked so that everybody can have access to it. That's it. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Josh. Orlando?
Hello, everyone. I hope you're all doing well. No updates today.
Awesome. Thank you. I know Fernando said he didn't have any. Patty? Patty? No, she. Going once, going twice. Okay, well, Patty will let us know if she's back. Great. No old business. So moving straight into new business. Miss Jane, you have the floor.
Yeah, me and Angie have a resolution. Cass or Fernando, would you be able to share screen to pull it up? Or, oh, yeah, and Cass, can you update it? Or I don't know if you guys want me to share screen.
I'm adding it to the agenda right now, the link.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, and then thank you. Okay, awesome. So this is a resolution to commemorate the signing of the ADA and to push UCLA towards further accessibility. So I guess I'll just start reading it. And it's also sponsored by DSU. So whereas the Americans with Disabilities Act was signed into law on this day, July 26, in 1990, and is an equal opportunity law for people with disabilities and prevents discrimination based on disability. And whereas Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act of 1973 prohibits organizations, employers, and educational institutions from excluding or denying individuals with disabilities an equal opportunity to receive program benefits and services. And whereas the UCLA ADA 504 Compliance Office monitors and implements compliance with state and federal laws, including the ADA in Section 504, advises the campus community regarding making services, programs, and activities accessible, and investigates ADA 504 related issues and reports of disability-based discrimination. And whereas the UCLA ADA 504 compliance officer must be knowledgeable about the requirements under state and federal disability discrimination laws, regulations, and guidance to advise the university about its policies, procedures, and practices, and to investigate complaints alleging violations of Section 504 ADA, discrimination based on disability and disability harassment. And then I don't know, Angie, if you want to read the last one.
Whereas the ADA 504 compliance officer is currently hired under the Center for Accessible Education, CAE, and has been in interim position for the past 2 years, which poses a direct conflict of interest regarding ADA 504 related issues and reports of disability-based discrimination within the CAE. Whereas there continues to be an alarming shortage of disability specialists hired under the CAE, resulting in an approximate 685 student counselor ratio, whereas the national recommendation by AHEAD is 1 to 115 for a university of our size. Therefore, let it be resolved that the UCLA USAC supports the ADA and long-term inclusive design at the university. Let it further be resolved that the USAC recognizes that they themselves and the university at large has a long way to go in implementing basic accessibility standards to promote the inclusion of all students, regardless of disability status, understanding that they must continue to listen to and amplify the voices of the Disabled Student Union, as well as other disabled students. Let it further be resolved that the USAC supports past, current, and future activism from the disabled community at UCLA through tangible advocacy and support in their capacity as council members. And let it finally be resolved that the USAC calls on university administration to recommit support to the ADA by taking tangible steps such as prioritizing hiring an ADA 504 compliance officer housed under the Office of Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion, hiring more disability specialists under the Center for Accessible Education, and providing anti-ableism trainings for their staff and faculty.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Jane and Angie, for all your work on this. Does anyone have any questions, comments, or concerns? Going once, going twice. Well, thank you both so much for your work on this. Can I get a motion, please?
Oh, Breeze, really quick before you all vote on it, can you just make sure that's updated on the agenda as an action item?
How would we update it as an action item? Sorry.
Sorry about that. I just had to close my door. My dogs are barking.
Okay.
Since it was already on your agenda, you can just go ahead and, just articulate for the minutes that it's supposed to be an action item. Generally, if something was being changed during the meeting where you weren't prepared to vote on it, you would need to actually motion to amend it as an action item and then take a formal vote. But since this was already on the agenda and this was just more of a technical error with the agenda, I think it's fine to just state that it should be an action item. And I see that Cass just put a asterisk by it. So I think we're good.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. Great. Can I get a motion, please?
I motion to approve the resolution to commemorate the signing of the ADA and to push UCLA towards further accessibility resolution.
Can I get a second?
I second.
Okay, motions, moment of seconds. All in favor, please raise your hands. I think I'm missing your hand, Tay, sorry. Okay, awesome. By a vote of 10-0, the motion passes and the resolution is approved. Thank you so much, Jane and Angie, for your work. Okay, and finally, Angie, you have the floor.
Hi, so I kind of just wanted to have a discussion about academic senate appointments. And my chief of senate, Ashley, is in the, I think she's here. Can she be promoted and speak a little bit, or is that, is she able to do that?
Yeah, well, Josh, I would have to yield the floor to her, right?
Yep, that's correct.
Okay, so yeah, Ashley can be promoted and I will yield the floor so she can speak.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Ashley, you are free to speak when you are promoted and you are set.
Okay, hi, can you guys hear me? This is so weird. Hi everyone, my name's Ashley. I'm the chief of staff for Senate this year in AAC. And Angie just asked me to come by to kind of talk about the timeline for appointments really quickly. So appointments have to be done by August, and I just wanted to ask if council would be open to doing their, I think it would be like a consent appointment or a vote appointment. I'm not sure like the USAC term for it all. But I was wondering if it would be possible to have those USAC meetings where they make the appointments for Senate on the 23rd and the 30th of August. I don't know if this has been discussed or not.
Yeah, so I could go ahead and talk since I was AAC last year. So I know for us personally, even though like they say to have them in by August, if you talk to Taylor, who, you know, I'm pretty sure you guys probably know about Taylor, he could like push it to September. These would not be consent items because AAC, you know, like your appointments for academic senate should be stipended. They would have to go through like a whole voting process. And which means that they would have to go through ARC and would have to go through the whole entire process of like the other appointments that we had earlier in the night. But yeah, that's like my thoughts as like having been former AAC. We can still start having those meetings, you know, as soon as you guys get those appointments through. But I know that there's like 25, I think it went up a bit. It's like 29 appointments now for academic senate. So it might take longer than those 2 meetings unless, you know, we stay here until like 3 or 4 in the morning. Erman?
Yeah, I think this is what Ashley might be referring to as an emergency USAC meeting, to have a meeting held sometime within our bi-weekly meetings, either between our August meetings or between our final August meeting and our first September meeting, to dedicate that time only to appointment interviews and have it be shorter because of what you're saying, Breeze, about how, you know, we'd be here until 3 or 4 in the morning if we tried to fit in 25 appointments into 2 days. But I know that I was also not aware of the possibility of extending appointments into September. But correct me if I'm wrong, Ashley, or Angie, but I think that you might be referring to an emergency council meeting specifically for appointments where like all we do is do those interviews, so that we can sort of more equitably disperse the time that we are doing appointment interviews between our already established bi-weekly August council meetings and then the remaining interviews for that, you know, exact purpose of not being here until 4 in the morning for 2 weeks in a row. But yeah, feel free to like clarify, but that was my understanding.
Yeah. Maya, you had your hand up? Okay, yeah, no worries. Yeah, Ashley, Angie, you guys are free to respond to that. No worries, Maya. But yeah, that's just my thoughts on it. I think, you know, you can start pushing them forth if you can. Early August, I mean, I'm open to, if need be, having like those appointments be late at a later time, but I know that my own appointments, I just had to talk to Taylor to make sure that, you know, they were still well prepared to be fully appointed. But I know I had like an appointment come in as late as November because they had to get replaced by someone else and it still ended up working out. That being said, if you guys are really like, we need to get these in, we could think about it. And I think all of council could like discuss what their thoughts are. But I do know from my own experience, if you reach out to Taylor, he should be helpful in like moving it past to like later in the, at least for UGC, I know UGC starts meeting earlier and a couple of others, those you might want to get in earlier. But I know, for example, LGA meets at the end of the quarter. That one, yes, get it in September-ish, get it in, early October latest, but, I don't know. Personally, I wouldn't be as pressed about it, but I don't know, Angie, Ashley, I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on it.
I was just going to say, thank you for clarifying. We didn't really know that was an option. I think admin tends to just tell you a date and want it done by then. They don't really offer an extension. So it's nice to know that that's possible. However, I did just want to bring it up to council. Feel free to discuss amongst each other and take a vote or whatever it may be. If it is easier to do a special meeting specifically tailored to amendments, as Hedman was suggesting, I don't know if that would be a better alternative. Yeah, either way, I just wanted to mention that as a possibility for the 23rd and the 30th, depending on how everyone in council is feeling. If you guys want to just keep doing it during your regular council meetings in September or something, and it's fine with the analyst, I'm sure that would be okay as well. I did just want to bring it up as an option for the rest of the council members to think on, so I have made my piece. I don't know if Angie wants to say anything else, and that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for hearing me out.
Yeah, no worries, Ashley. And if you guys need any assistance with that facilitation, please reach out to me. Yeah, same thing with me. My appointment should have been done ages ago. But as long as you're pushing them forth every week, no one can really blame you because you're doing the best that you can. I guess council members now, would you guys, I mean, it is a lot of appointments. Do you guys want to have a special meeting? I know that is when summer's starting to wind down. People might want a little bit of a break. I know I will be knee deep in C-Sesh classes because I decided to drop my class this one. So I don't know how I feel about adding an extra council meeting, but I am totally open to it if that is what the council feels like.
Wait, I'm sorry. Just to clarify, so we already have a meeting on the 23rd. So this is just adding a meeting so that, okay.
Yeah, I guess the idea is that we would add an extra meeting.
It's 8 o'clock.
Yeah, it sure is. We would add an extra meeting just to make sure that, all the appointments get in. And I mean, I know a couple of people are mad you were in appointment, those meetings went pretty long when there were academic senate appointments because, we had to push for 25 last year. Now it's more than that. So I just want to kind of gauge the room, see how everyone's feeling. I'm also open to us, potentially if we see okay, these meetings are getting really long. We don't have to vote on it right now, right? I also don't think all of the council members are here. So we could keep it as an option and, potentially thank you, Ashley, for bringing up those dates. If those dates work best for you, when the time comes, we can see oh, hey, we might need to add an extra meeting, and that is totally fine as well. But, Ashley, I would recommend reaching out and seeing which appointments meet first. And there are some that meet earlier, like UGC, and those are the ones that I'm okay, yeah, those make sense that you might want to add first, but don't feel super nervous about it. That training can happen at any point in time, honestly. Erman, sorry.
You're good. I just wanted to, sorry I'm talking so much. I just wanted to say that I think if it is possible for us to do appointments in September, then that would probably erase the need for us to have to do any sort of emergency council meeting, because then those bajillion appointments would sort of be more equitably distributed through our already scheduled council meetings. And I also, you read my mind, Breeze, I did want to say that little piece about equitability for the people that we're bringing into the appointment spaces, because of the fact that obviously not for every student, but for many students, this is their first relationship to USAC, the first time that they are in a council meeting, perhaps because of their relationship to being appointed. And so it might also be more equitable to students for us to reduce the amount of appointments that we're doing in each session. And that's why maybe doing a 1 hour emergency council meeting might be a better alternative than having everyone sit through a 4-hour council meeting that's already scheduled. But I do agree that this is probably something that we can maybe revisit next week if people aren't feeling like they have enough knowledge about that right now, and for us to do that reaching out to Senate to see if that September deadline is flexible. But that's where I'm at, and I think that's something that might be useful for our prospective appointments.
I agree with that, Arman. Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. So maybe we can, I'm not sure, is it tabling the discussion? We would table it, right? Josh?
Well, currently right now it was just a discussion. There's no need to vote on anything unless unless someone wants to put a vote forward to add an emergency meeting. If everyone just agrees at this point, it stays as is. We're not changing anything. And then we can reassess the discussion as we move forward. I will say, though, it'll be really important that Academic Senate starts bringing candidates as soon as possible. So that we are starting to meet, so they have to meet with ARC and then they move forward so that we are starting the process over the next couple of meetings to bring down that number, because there are a lot of appointments.
There are, yeah. So Angie and Ashley, feel free to reach out if you guys have any questions in terms of like how we ran it last year. But yes, we will keep it as a discussion. If we see that, okay, we need to make these appointments, then we can add an emergency meeting. But thank you so much, Ashley, for keeping us in mind. We really appreciate that. That's really helpful for us. Great. Okay, I think that we're done for the night. Wow, this is a record. I'm gonna cry. Okay, period. So I motion to adjourn the meeting, or is it I adjourn the meeting, Josh?
You just I move.
I'm okay. Awesome. I move to adjourn the meeting at 8:04.
Josh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh,
but
you're good.
He wanted to bring in the I move. I move to adjourn the meeting at 8:04 p.m. Thank you, everyone. I know that someone's still in the waiting room. You will be promoted to a panelist. Oh, Fernando, can you stop the recording? Sorry.
The recording has stopped.